out of bed real slow, it's time to start the day. Crazy thoughts are clouding up my mind. Wanting so much more from life, I close my eyes and pray. Is there something more for me to find? Feeling low, I've been knocked down, how can I get ahead? My confidence has been fading fast. Deep inside I know there's more than lying on this bed. I have to leave my fears in the past. This time I'm rising higher, now that I see there's so much more to this life, my destiny. Pushing through this life each day, a battle for the soul. Careful what I hear and what I see. Twist of truth and twist of lies, it's bound to take a toll. If they win, I never will be free. Focused on the higher things, my doubts try to return. Working hard to try to tear me down. Will I find the strength to win? Remember what I've learned. Always pick myself up off the ground. This time I'm rising higher, now that I see there's so much more to this life, my destiny. Each day I get stronger, I prepare for the fight, and as the battle gets longer, some days hold on to what's right. She's still over there, standing all alone, waiting for a guy to take her back home. It's been a rough night, she wants to take flight, hiding from her fear, but no one else is in sight. She wants to move on, but leaving's never easy. Her heart will go beyond what she thought was possible. She tells him she quits, he isn't the one. He's driving her down, and now she is done. He tells her don't leave, it was all just a game. Then he redirects, and now she's the one to blame. She wants to move on, and now it's even easier. The love she had for him is gone, and it's never coming back. No freedom in the pain, no love in the tears. Nothing's gonna change if you stay through all the years. You'll find somebody else who will hold you tight, and you'll find real love. No more tears in the night. Freedoms in view, preservations to gain. You'll mend your broken heart, you're now off the chain. You're free from the heartache, you're free from the lies. There are other people out there who are not in disguise. Once upon a life, a distant dream comes true. When you walked into my life, my heart ran after you. We never knew that things would get so hard, but it's the bumps in life that make us who we are. I've spent too many days searching for who I am, fighting the time I'm given, lost in a future plan, always blind to what's in front of me. A protector, a friend, fighting to set me free. When I wished upon that star, I prayed to win your heart. It's like the world stands still when I'm alone with you. Just to hold your hand again, just to know you are my friend. I know the world stands still when I'm alone with you. Looking in the sky always sets me free again. It reminds me every time that true love can have no end. It takes my mind to where I need to go, past the trials of life to a hope that I now know. Finally we're together, a dream that now comes true. Taking on life seasons, running hand in hand with you. You take me where I always need to be. You're the light of love that made this blind man see. When I wished upon that star, I prayed to win your heart. It's like the world stands still when I'm alone with you. Just to hold your hand again, just to know you are my friend. I know the world stands still when I'm alone with you. We've weathered many storms, though there's more we'll see. Please know that I'm always by your side. Just to see your smile sends a power through me. You give me hope, you bring me joy. You're the love that fills my heart. When I wished upon that star, I prayed to win your heart. It's like the world stands still when I'm alone with you. Just to hold your hand again, just to know you are my friend. I know the world stands still when I'm alone with you. Yes, the world stands still when I'm alone with you.
All right, what is going on, everybody? This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for this stream. So what's going on? My name is Isaac J. Conrad, in case you didn't know, and I'm a guitar player, and I've been playing guitar for about 14 years. So in this live stream, I just kind of want to play some guitar, have some fun. Feel free to hang out in the comments section, be like, yo, what's up? And I'll be more than happy to ask. I mean, sure, I'll ask you questions, but I'll answer any questions if anybody has anything, and we're just going to have some fun. It's going to be like a little rock concert, so it's going to be a great time. So to start off with today, we're going to be playing, there's about 9 songs I got picked out here, and they all kind of stem around the 1980s, so it's going to be fun. We're going to start with Standing in the Shadows by the band Dokken. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. While we're doing the music, I'm going to mute this microphone, and you're just going to hear the audio coming from Spotify and from the amplifier. So enough of the techie details. Let's get into the fun. Test. Testing one. There we go. I don't know if I unmute the microphone. But yeah, they're standing in the shadows. Are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles looking for your Master Shredder? Well, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We got Sterling in the chat. Yo, what's up, Sterling? Great to see you, sir. Brain Kills, thank you so much for being here. Let's go. It's going to be a ton of fun. We got 10 people watching over on Rumble, so thank you guys. What's up? To go off to the next song, which, wow, that is not English, but to do the next the next song that we're going to play is going to be Too Young to Die, Too Drunk to Live by the band called Alcatraz. So Alcatraz is kind of a lesser-known band in the kind of early 80s. They were one of the first bands besides Steeler to get Yngwie Malmsteen, which is one of the coolest guitar players, very neoclassical guy, really cool, to get him in a band. So awesome. I'm going to stop talking. Let's just start the next song. Whoa! There we go. Look at that. I unmuted myself. It's a miracle. Let's go. What? What? Making big moves. Can you play Chiodos? Chiodos? Cheetos? Chiodos. I don't know that song, but I'll tell you what. After the stream, I'm gonna check it out and see about that. I'm honestly not sure about that one, but I'm gonna check it out and see what's going on with it. Thank you for the recommendation, Mr. Hot Dogs. That's a band. Oh, what's up? I'll check them out. I'll definitely check them out. Do any post-hardcore? Post-hardcore. I honestly, not a lot of the hardcore music I know. Hardcore is a little bit too hardcore for me. I kind of like a lot more of the melodic kind of stuff, like the 80s bands, some of the 90s, and like instrumental type songs are really cool too. Some of my influences with guitar are people like Jason Becker. Obviously, my dad. My dad is my biggest influence on guitar, so he was in guitar competitions back in his day, so definitely one of my biggest influences. But I will definitely look into Chiodos, and I'm hoping that I am pronouncing that right, but I'll definitely look into it, sir. Thank you so much, Brain Kills. Thank you very much. This is fun. This is really cool. It has been, oh my gosh, I can't even think of how long it's been since I've done a stream like this. Last I would have done would probably been Twitch, and I'm thinking maybe 2021, but I could be wrong. Like, it's around that. So it's cool to get back into it, and just now that I have better equipment to do stuff, you know, it's fun. All right, let's stop talking. Let's get into the fun stuff. Yeah. Next song is going to be Crazy Nights by Danger Danger. Danger Danger has one of the best guitarists, Andy Timmons. He always has the most incredible tone. Let's get started and stop talking. Just do it. Oh, Chiodos. Thank you. Chiodos. Much better than like whatever I was calling it, so thank you. All right, here we go. testing 1 2. There we go. I almost forgot to mute my microphone right at the beginning of that song, so that was close. But yeah, that was Danger Danger's Crazy Nights. Thank you so much, Junior Clergy, over in the Rumble chat. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. I love guitar. It's so much fun to play. Oh yeah, especially in the Twitch chat, Sterling and Brainkills playing Apex together, like season 1 and 2. Like, it was early on. That was back when Apex was really good, so that was the time to be alive. I was actually looking through some of my old videos, and I found some stuff. Like, I found some old clips where we did some plays, and I'm like, those were the good times, you know, back when, before Apex got all bad. Alright, so next up, let's go ahead and do Tesla's Hang Tough. And I'm going to remember to mute my microphone, believe it or not. And there we go. Alright, perfect. Using PSP more often nowadays. Just replaying classics and trying games I never played before. Low-key can't put it down. Dude, I'm telling you, the PS Vita, the homebrew scene too, but especially some of those PS Vita games go hard. Like, dude, a Unit 13, like I was telling you the other day, you gotta check that out. There's a couple others that I've recently been looking at. Like, I found on Mercari, there was some dude selling the Call of Duty Declassified for the PS Vita, and you look at videos, it's like people don't like it, so I'm like, I'm good. But PS Vita, oh, so good. My voice is like 15 octaves deeper now. All right. Cooly cool. All right, and we're going to switch over to a song called Tooth and Nail by Dokken. Dokken is one of my favorite bands, but Dokken always, on their studio recordings, they always tune differently and shifted the tuning so where it's very difficult to play along with unless you tune like a quarter step down or whatever. So we are going to be doing the live version on their Beast from the East album. So exact same song, just a smidge faster and actually in a good key. So that's awesome. So without further ado, let's get into Tooth and Nail by Dokken. Testing 1, 2, there we go. We popped a string, so unfortunately the section that I solo didn't get put in. Now it's the A string. That's crazy. I want to go back to that guitar. It's going to take 2 seconds to get these strings repaired real quick. And I will also show you that it's one of the reasons that my dad taught me to reverse wind guitars. So especially with the Floyd Rose, when you have something like this, what happens is you will occasionally pop strings down at the bridge. You can see it right there. When you reverse wind at the top, instead of having to go get another string, especially when you're in a live set, what you can do is take your locking key for your locking nut, just unscrew that. Not all the way, just a smidge. We can, for this guitar, it has locking tuners, so we can just unlock the tuners just a bit. And then we can take the peg and loosen it to where the string is pretty straight on. So where the string is kind of from the top to the bottom, just like that. There you go. Expand the winding. And one of the key things that you have to do is you also have to unlock it from the base of the bridge. Now that there's no tension, now it's safe to do so. And then we have the remaining string, and you can see where it broke right there. It's hard to tell. There it is. You can see it's a little bit frilled right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to snip the section after it's frilled. It's right there. There we go. And we also throw this away. That way we don't sleep on it tonight. Let's see here. What we got? Cool. We got a spam bot in the chat. Woo. I don't remember how. It's been so long since I've done Instagram. Or not Instagram, sorry. It's been so long since I've done Twitch, I don't remember how to ban somebody. But thankfully they're not spamming, so we're just going to pretend that they didn't say anything in the Twitch chat. So, keeping on. Now that we have the strings out and we have the rest of it right there, we can just safely, from the top, we can pull down the string. Since it's a locking tuner, you can see where there's a big notch right in the string. But it's above the locking nut, so it doesn't really matter too much. And then what we can do is we can clamp it right down on the saddle. I'm going to go do it on my bed so I can make sure I do it straight. Thank you all for your patience so much. It means the world to me. Bro, after you fix it, do some tremolo flutters. I think, yeah, you're 100% saying it right, man. We'll definitely do some tremolo flutters. That's one of my favorite things with the Floyd Rose is the kind of the effects you can do out of it. I have a PRS with the standard tremolo, which PRS is still an amazing guitar, but with the standard tremolo, it's a little bit, it's not as fun for me. Because the Floyd Rose, I grew up with it. It was my first guitar, so it's like a family member. And it's like, once you don't have the family member, it's like, dang, something's wrong. And I will say, this guitar especially, this is a custom-made carving instrument. This thing handles flutters, like, insanely. Like, the white guitar I pulled out, that flutters a little bit. It just more goes, brr, and that's it. This one goes, brr, you know, for lack of a more official term. But it's just like that. So let's go back over here. Sorry, I keep getting sidetracked with this instrument. Locking tuners are a little bit interesting, so I'm used to kind of leaving some string space up the tuning peg. With locking tuners, you want full tension, and then you tighten the string under full tension. And we'll get our cable and get it tuned to pitch. So that's our E. That's not an E, though. Okay. is still a little bit flat, but it's flat because it'll kind of straighten itself out once we get the Locking nut tightened back up. Just like that. Okay, so I got a couple that are out, such as the name of the game. And we're right back into it. So that, since it was a demonstration, that wasn't evidence of how quickly you can do it. But I've had strings break on me at church, and it's just settling myself down. That way my hands aren't shaking all over the place, and just doing it quicker. I've gotten it pretty good. Like, I've gotten some decent time out of it. So, flutters. Incredible question, Mr. Brain Kills. You want to hear some flutters? We're going to do some flutters. So, flutters, tremolos. They're incredible for many reasons. Tuning stability, number one. Number two, all the effects you can do with it. Like, something like that. And then if we do some flutters, or you have your dive bombs. That's one thing I love about the Floyd. Always comes back. If you have a good Floyd Rose, like Floyd Rose Original, Floyd Rose 1000, you're always going to be back in tune. All right. So, thank you guys so much for your patience. Sorry about that string break, I should say. Like, coil the string back up. There we go. Alright, it's not the prettiest looking anymore, but that's okay. We're just not going to look at the headstock too much. Next song, Don't Blame It on Love. I'm so sorry, I clapped. Don't Blame It on Love by Danger Danger. Let's do this thing. Testing 1, 2. We're still there. And
you had everything that you wanted, but something was wrong from the moment they started. I followed your lead, touching your teeth, but I've had enough of that not moving me. You got one too many tricks up your sleeve. Don't let it be your
Testing one. There we go. Hey. Perfect. Thank you so much, Dad. Dad in the Rumble chat. I'm so sorry for the delay, by the way, on this. Dad said, sounds great. Thank you so much, Dad. That's my dad in the chat right there, everybody. Mom and Dad are my biggest support team, so thank you guys so much for being here. As always, it means the world to me. We got just a couple more songs here. Also, major thanks to the man, the myth, the legend, Sterling himself, for getting that person kicked from the Twitch chat. Amazing, Sterling. Mucho gracias, amigo. Next song we got is Follow Your Heart by Triumph. I remember back in the old state I used to live in, I used to love, especially during high school, I loved Triumph. And I was like hardcore Triumph fan. Still am. So let me just make sure I remember it. Alright, there we go. Cool, here we go! So, what do you guys think of the song? Just kidding. There we go. Woo! I know, right? Muted again. I don't want it. Me and this mute button aren't getting along, but I can't blame the equipment. It's the user. What's going on, Vamp? Concert at a concert. Let's go. Heck yeah. Thanks so much for tuning in. Even though you can't hear because of the concert, because it is a concert. Thanks for tuning in for a concert at a concert. Hey. Muy bien. What is going on? Grandma, Grandpa Jan's in the Rumble chat. What's up? Oh! Thank you guys so much for being here. And thank you so much for saying awesome. Appreciate you guys. We got 2 songs left. We got one by Firehouse. We got one more by Danger Danger. As a common theme, I'm kind of into a Danger Danger phase right now, just because the guitar work's kind of fun. It's a little cheesy, you know, but it's a good band. So we got Firehouse for Mom, and then we're ending with a Danger Danger song. Without further ado, here's Don't Treat Me Bad. Okay. Brain Kills, The Freight Train by Nitro. It's been a minute. But I can give it right at the end. Let me think about it a little bit, because it's been a minute and I don't want to make a complete buffoon out of myself. But let me think about it, and then if we do it, it'll be right at the end. It's not going to sound exact because Michelangelo Badio, when he did it, he had more than 24 frets. But, you know, with the right amount of willpower, we can make some extra frets. You know, there's some room. No, there's not, but we can figure it out. All right, without further ado, gotta go concert. Yes, keep on shredding, brother. Appreciate you, Vamp. Enjoy the concert at the concert. Whoa! Play Freebird. Oh, jeez. Is that the... That's as much as we're gonna do for that today. Alright, anyway, sorry. Don't treat me bad, let's do it. Testing more. All right. And that will almost conclude it. I think I'll try a freight train. It's been a minute, but we'll figure it out. Okay. We'll listen to it a little bit, and then we'll see if I can remember any of it. But technically, the official end is going to be Bang Bang by Danger Danger. Also, major kudos to Sterling working in the background through all the different things. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we're on Rumble, and Sterling donated $5. Right when I'm complimenting this dude. How can he get any better? And he manages to find a way. What's up, Sterling? Oh! Thank you so much for the $5, sir. It means the absolute world to me. Let's see. That's great. Thank you, Sterling. Appreciate you. As I was saying, Sterling is working like overtime. He's on Rumble. He's on YouTube. He's on Twitch. He's everywhere. Just making sure to keep the chats active. Means the world to me, sir. You're a legend. The best. Alright, official end is going to be Bang Bang by Danger Danger. Without further ado, let's just get right into it, dang it.
Sounds
we go. Sometimes it's like the mute button needs to wake up, so it's almost like I have to double tap it sometimes. I still gotta figure out the nuances to it. But Freight Train Nitro. Let's see. We're gonna do just a quick little preliminary. See if I can remember this. No promises. Okay. It's been a minute. It's been more than minutes. It's been many months to maybe over a year. So let's see. We got the. Let's listen to it first, and then we'll go from there. Mute. There we go. All right. We'll get to a close section. Okay. Let's start it over, and let's actually, before we do, that was just the preliminary. I want to hear the solo. Alright, let's try it. From start to finish. No. Test one? Testing? Alright, I don't know what happened there. Anywho, this is not related to the stream, okay? This is separate. Let's just try it. Here we go. Okay. I forgot to mute the microphone, so major apologies for that. But it's close. I mean, I'm so sorry for all the mistakes. It's been a long time. I got to relook at that. I'm a sweaty disaster, and I got a fan blowing on me. Golly. Jeez. One thing I've always wanted to do, I don't know where my pick went, but I want to throw pick to the audience, everybody. So who's going to catch it? I don't know if you guys even saw that I threw a pick. I should have another one around here. So there it is. Okay, here's the other one. All right. Who's going to get it? I don't know if you saw it or not, but I did throw a pick, okay? Kudos to the person that caught it. Anywho, thank you all so much for joining. It has been a long time since I've done a guitar live stream, and I had an absolute blast. I hope you did too. Make sure that if you're not already following my socials, follow me on my socials. They're right there. Oh, they're right there. I'm trying to hold it. Oh, there we go. They're right there. They're in the palm of my hands. Make sure you follow on Instagram. Make sure you follow on Rumble. Make sure you follow on YouTube. Make sure you follow on Twitch, although I don't do as much on Twitch, but feel free to do it on Twitch too. Thank you all for coming, and to everybody, have an incredible evening. Jesus loves you, and major thanks to my mom and dad for raising me right.